Thank you very much. I'll just say good evening to everyone again. And brief disclaimer, I got fancy this time and I've got videos embedded in my presentation. So please be patient. Okay, so the topic of my presentation this evening is voices from student midwives during the COVID-19 crisis. I've done a lot of talking in the past couple of weeks. I really wanted to use this opportunity to give other students' voices a platform. And this is Daniela. She's in my clinical practice area. This is the lovely Hawa. This is the lovely Rianne. She was in my previous cohort. She's now a newly qualified midwife. And that's me wearing my PPE. Ooh. Okay, just a brief summary of what I'm going to touch on in this presentation. So I'm just going to talk a bit more about the COVID-19 cohort blog and just summarize a few of the findings that I've drawn out from my work on this. And I thought it would be nice to show how students are doing now. So for example, here's Hawa. She actually submitted a blog for the COVID-19 cohorts blog. And I've revisited, I spoke to Hawa just yesterday actually to find out how she's doing now. So we're going to be reflecting on that. I'm going to highlight a few support resources for students, and we're going to end with a special message from a very special someone. Okay, so what is the COVID-19 cohorts blog? Okay, so I started a project while I had to opt out. I had quite mixed feelings about having to opt out. I felt quite guilty. But my time at home led me to reflect on how other students may be feeling at this time. So I started this blog. So what it is a blog that features reflections written by student midwives from all over the world. And it documents their experiences of being a student midwife during the COVID-19 pandemic. The countries that are featured in the blog include Iran, England, Greece, Uganda, USA, Rwanda, and the Republic of Ireland. This is just an excerpt from Osama's blog. He's a student midwife in Uganda. So what he had to say was, only 2 weeks into my long anticipated hospital placement, I received the shocking news about the immediate closure of all university programs. Withdrawing from my clinical practice has caused me a lot of anxiety, as I am not certain that extended clinical placements will be arranged to replace the previously disrupted ones. I was so pleased to be able to reach out to a Ugandan student midwife, because it's very easy to get wrapped up in your own personal experience. And I think it's very important for us to always reflect on the experiences of others. Okay, moving on. This is Hawa wrote a poem. She wrote a really beautiful poem. And an excerpt from Hawa's poem was, I bought books, I bought pens, I bought shoes for placement. Excited and elated, I waited to start. And then they announced it. They shut the schools down. And now we're held hostage, confined to our homes. I found Hawa's poem to be really touching and really powerful. And I was really, really pleased that she submitted it. Thank you, Hawa. This is a student midwife in America, New York to be specific. We heard a lot about the pandemic in America around the different states. So it was nice to get the feedback of a student that practices there. Suddenly, what had felt like a supported and progressing early labour came to a complete stop. We were all required to quarantine at home, and within days, the once bustling and turbulent city fell quiet. New York has quickly become a worldwide epicenter, and our hospital system and providers have appeared to drown in the never-ending sea of patients. And our last quote comes from Jenna. The title of Jenna's blog piece was The Year the World Stood Still. Jenna had been anticipating qualifying in September 2020. She was really looking forward to it, submitting her dissertation, applying for jobs, and then the pandemic hit. So Jenna had this to say. Overnight, I was not only studying for a degree, but now I had the daunting task of homeschooling my 2 children, and my husband's workplace had to figure out how they were going to keep their business running. The biggest question I have now is, when will I qualify? I feel like these examples that I've provided from the blog, I feel that a lot of you out there will resonate with a lot of you. but I didn't want to leave it on a sour note. So this is the feedback that I've gotten from students quite recently this week. So Usama says, I have now opted into a voluntary hospital placement. I am still not certain of when I'll resume school. This is week 3 of my practice. I spent the first 2 weeks working on the postnatal ward. I am currently in the labour suite. I am really getting good opportunities to practice and learn. I feel so proud that I have supported 3 mothers to birth their babies. And here's the lovely Hawa. What a difference 10 weeks can make. I have made the new normal work for me. I am really looking forward to face-to-face sessions, but the overthinker in me is now anxious of how she will readjust back to the old way of working once the world has healed. I think we can all relate to Hawa's feelings of anxiety. If we have opted out, I have to admit myself, I was anxious about returning to practice. Jenna was so gracious. She was gracious enough to send me a whole paragraph. Here we go. Placement is very different. It has taken time to get my head around how contact with women has changed during the antenatal period. And it still feels strange consulting with women over the telephone. The midwives I work with have been very supportive of my new role within the trust and were happy to see us back. PPE is uncomfortable, and it has taken away that sense of being able to build a rapport and bond with women on a more personal level. It's hard to reassure women when there is a physical barrier between us. I feel that my communication skills have improved greatly, though, as a result. Jenna's got a job as well. She throughout all of this, Jenna managed to interview for a job, and she got the job of her dreams. Preparing for interviews was at times difficult as I was applying while writing my dissertation. Hearing back from employers seemed to take a long time due to staff levels at the trust. Interviewing over a computer screen was also odd, but receiving that phone call offering me my dream job at my first choice trust was the best day. I'm excited to have the opportunity to finish my degree on time, start my job in October, and begin this new chapter in my life. I want to thank all of the contributors to my presentation tonight. Thank you so much. Your input has been so valuable. Now, I managed to get these 2 lovely ladies to submit video testimonials of how they're doing now. And fingers crossed, there'll be no technical glitches. This first video is a bit quiet at the beginning, but it does pick up.
Challenges of COVID-19 was organising childcare for when I returned back to clinical practice. Prior to COVID-19, I had access to a variety of childcare providers, which after the virus were no longer accessible to me. So therefore, when I knew I would be returning to clinical practice, I contacted my university and my clinical placement CPFs. They were extremely supportive with my difficulties. They organised my rota so that I was able to continue attending placement around my available childcare, and therefore I have continued my training and continued my learning.
Okay, and we're going to hear from Trisha now, hopefully.
Hi, I'm Trisha, first year student midwife. I'm coping really well right now through a series of trial and error in terms of when I'm going to be studying and things like that. I found that waking up early to study really helps me as the rest of the family are asleep, and that gives me time to just be by myself and focus, as I was a student who really liked going to the library to work, and I can't really do that at the moment. As a first year, I have been taken out of placement, but I'm grateful for it because it's enabled me to focus more on the academic side of things, completing my assignments, doing more reading. So that has really helped me, but I am excited to go back to placement soon.
Okie doke. A point I would like to make is that whilst all of this has been very difficult, we as student midwives have shown ourselves to be extremely resourceful and adaptable and creative. as my next video will show. Oops, oh, nope. Oh my
Hi,
goodness.
I'm Trisha.
Apologies, I'm so sorry. There we go, yes. Okay, so this is Anytime. Due to the cessation of face-to-face teaching, student midwives and our lecturers have had to become quite creative. So, for example, Anytime had to record her OSCE and send it to her lecturers as a video. So just check out this snippet from her breastfeeding OSCE. Anytime has also contributed to the COVID-19 Cohorts blog, and her blog was called Words of Wisdom.
So guys, I'm just going to talk a bit about breastfeeding, and there are so many benefits to breastfeeding. Disclaimer, I understand that not everyone can breastfeed, and some people do have problems and difficulties with breastfeeding. Some have tried and stopped along the way, etc. But that's fine. We're just here to talk about some of the benefits anyway, right?
Okay, I'm going to try and move to the next slide without it playing again.
So guys, I'm just going to talk a bit about breastfeeding.
Come on. There we go. Excellent. Fantastic. Okay, so now I'm just going to highlight a few resources that I found personally quite beneficial to my learning since face-to-face teaching has stopped. And I just wanted to highlight them to you. So the COVID-19 Cohorts blog is hosted on a website called All for Maternity. So this here on the side is just like a little step-by-step guide to show you how to find the COVID-19 Cohorts blog. And I want to let you all know that it's still open for submissions. All for Maternity has also provided study sheets. So you read an article, watch a video, and then there are activities for you to complete. And just to let you know that there is currently a 50% discount on annual subscriptions. So you would get the Practicing Midwife, the Student Midwife Journal, lots and lots of e-learning modules, and access to all of the blogs. This I wanted to highlight to you because this is a piece written by a midwife, and it's on the All for Maternity platform now. It's an open access article. During COVID, I'm sure you have found that normal birth has somewhat taken a back step due to increased PPE, for example. That's an intervention. Not allowed to, no visitors, that's an intervention. Sometimes your birth partner can't even be with you at the time. And just this article will give you ways to support women to achieve normal outcomes, have a normal birth experience, just to encourage you and to show you ways that you can enhance the birth experience regardless of what's going on. Because despite the pandemic, babies are still going to be born and women still need you. So this is an article that will support you to provide the care that you really want to give in spite of the pandemic. Aha, okie doke. So this is the July issue of the Student Midwife Journal. This issue, all of our issues are for you, but this issue in particular, it's our love letter to you, to your efforts throughout this pandemic. As student midwives, you have stood and you have protected the legacy of midwifery, you have protected women, you have protected babies, you have protected each other, you have protected your mentors. These images, these people on this cover, they are you. And I hope that you see yourself reflected in this cover. Okay, just a few more resources for student midwives at this time. Really important ones, actually. Health Education England. There are a lot of resources on their COVID-19 page. They have a dedicated web page for it, which will be linked in the resources that you'll get after this. There's e-learning. This student midwife case study, that's me again. But I recorded a video, and at the end of the video, there's a special message for all of you student midwives. I'm really, really proud to be one of you. You're just so impressive, and I want the world to know. I would scream it from like the rooftops if I could. And other sources of support for you are your lecturers, the Student Union Wellbeing Team. From September, students are able to get the £5,000 Learning Support Fund. I think applications open on the 1st of July. So please follow this account on Twitter. Of course, Student Finance can give you some advice, as can the RCM and the NMC. Okay, another video. This one is from the lovely Sheena Byram, just for you.
Hi everyone, it's Sheena Byram here. I just wanted to send a special message to all the student midwives out there, all of you who've had your practice placements disrupted and your study disrupted. I mean, it's just not what you expected at all, and whilst it's changed all our lives, this pandemic, for you it's been particularly enormous. And I want to send my congratulations to you for being so resilient during this time. And do you know, I think that you're the special ones because you've kind of been tested to the nth degree. And I know that when you go out there to be midwives, finally, you'll have something else, something that we'll never have had. So just good luck, and thank you for everything that you've done, because I know that you're going to make a massive difference when you do finally qualify.
Okay, this is probably going to play again when I press this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, please take out your phones, or if you're on your laptop, please take a screenshot of this slide. These are all fantastic accounts to follow. The entire Student Midwife Journal editorial board is on the Instagram list, and some of us are also on the Twitter list. That's me.
Thanks for watching this video from the Maternity and Midwifery Forum. For more expert opinion and analysis, hit the button below to subscribe.